grappling with this literal tsunami of data has become quite difficult. I don't think I've attended an ASCO meeting where we have seen so many positive phase 3 trials, really back-to-back, first AACR and now ASCO. We're witnessing at least 5, 6, 7 strongly positive phase 3 trials. Oncogenic drivers are still the initial determinant in the non-squamous population. If an individual has an EGFR mutation, they get a TKI. Osimertinib, based on the FLORA data, has displaced the first generation drugs, erlotinib and gefitinib. If they have an ALK translocation, they get a TKI, specifically alectinib, which looks significantly better than crizotinib. In fact, the survival, the PFS data have been updated at ASCO 2018, and it's 3-fold better. We're seeing a PFS of roughly 35 months versus 11 to 12 months in the control group. Unprecedented findings. For those with ROS1, crizotinib is the standard. For BRAF, combination dabrafenib and trametinib is the standard. It's probably about 20% of our patients. But for the much larger population who do not have readily identifiable oncogenic drivers, PD-L1 becomes our new standard of testing. If the patient is PD-L1 expressions 50% or higher, we have the choice of either pembro or combination pembro and chemotherapy, pem-carbo. If it's less than 50%, the combination, again, has benefit, and that includes the 0% group. For those individuals who are eligible for angiogenesis inhibition or are no longer sensitive to TKIs, have an oncogenic driver, but they've exhausted their benefits from TKIs, and that may happen a year, 2, 3 years into their treatment, we have now the emergence of a new combination that has generated a survival advantage. Now, it hasn't been formally FDA approved, but I suspect based on the results generated at ASCO 2018 that PAC, carbo, bev plus atezo will be a new standard. And my question is whether we can slot in pemetrexed in exchange for the paclitaxel in that setting. I'm not really sure of that. It would be an extraordinarily expensive regimen. On the other hand, it would be a less toxic regimen. We'd avoid the hair loss and the neuropathy we typically see with taxanes. For squamous, until we see the formal unveiling of both the IMpower 131 and Keynote 407 data, carbo combination with either gemcitabine or a taxane is the standard. I choose NAB-PAC. I think it's better tolerated. It's easier to give. We have survival data in the elderly that look quite promising. But now we have heard, at least through press release, of positive findings, both PFS and OS, for the combination of NAB-PAC carbo with pembrolizumab. Once more, analogous to the Keynote 189 trial, compared to just chemotherapy alone. And I suspect once those data are unveiled, we will have another new standard of care for the squamous population. So it's a heady time. I've never seen so many changes in how we practice based on a single set of meetings.
In my clinical practice, we've been checking PD-L1 expression for a long time at the time of initial diagnosis. We obviously conducted thorough molecular testing on all of our patients, and patients are offered treatment that are specific to their tumor. I think Keynote 189 clearly establishes a new standard of care for us. Again, in the context of patients with either less than 1% or 1 to 49%, because again, I think greater than 50% patient population can get pembrolizumab as a single agent. And that is the combination that if I don't have a clinical trial for my patients, I would offer them the triple combination. The carboplatin, paclitaxel, bevacizumab, and atezolizumab, the IMpower combination, is also a valid option for some patients, but Taxol comes with some side effects like neuropathy and hair loss that some of the patients are not happy with. So unless there is a need for my non-squamous histology, I would prefer to stay with the carboplatin pemetrexed based regimens. The Checkmate 227, in full disclosure, we've spent a lot of our resources on the combination of Ipi plus Nivo, because I really believe that combination to be an active and valid combination to be investigated. We treated a lot of patients on clinical trials with that, and we were happy with the results that we were seeing from our patients for the most part. But again, the combination is not an FDA-approved regimen, so it is difficult for me outside of a clinical trial to say that I'm offering that to my patients at this point. Moreover, I think overall survival data is important, and as the study is still ongoing, we don't have that data, and once that becomes available, I think it gives us a different perspective as to whether an IO-IO combination can in fact improve overall survival also in the specific patient population that we're investigating.